Let's give you 9. Index. I'll create another form too, okay, for number 2, I mean page 2. I'll just say this is, even though it's not really processed, but just say here maybe like page 2 HTML. So the first one we have the form, and then page 2 we have a second form, and then we'll do one more form, okay, one more page. Page 3, just say this is the result page. So 3 pages. You can pass data from one page to another page to another page. And go ahead and create a script. I'm not going to care too much about CSS in this example. Just want the functionality in this example. So let's go and create a JavaScript. I'll call this one here just call it state. Alright, so in the index page, we will link to our, well, in this one here, we don't have to put a script in here. We just basically, I'm going to send the data over from this page to the second page, right? So we'll put the script on page 2. So this is just the form to process the data. We'll put the script on page 2 here. So let's, for now, let's build our form. Go ahead and put a form here. You can give it a, we don't need the name and stuff because we'll get those data from the query string, right? We're not going to validate either. If you do validate, then this is where you would do that in this page for. Let's just say that everything's going to be passed along perfectly fine. So we just need the action tag parameter. It's going to go to the page 2. And we just have like maybe like 3 fields. We have just put a label or name. Put the label here will be like turn name. Maybe put username. How's that? Username. So put the username. Username, and then put the label, the input for username. The name is going to be username. We need the name parameter because that needs to be passed along over to the other page, and it will show up in the query string. So we'll leave it at that. It will also need, I'm going to copy this 3 here, right? Highlight, Control D. So duplicate that. And then we'll just put, and we'll put here password. Maybe just 2 fields in this one, so we have time. And then the maybe just password. We'll have submit. Input type is submit. The value is just say go to, or just say next, right? Something like that. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. I'm going to load this on the browser. Very simple form. Okay. Just so that it works, when we submit this form, I put him here, say test, and the password is 1234. Click next. Okay, as you can see up in the URL, it has the username and the password. Okay, pass along. Go on to page 2 now. So on the page 2, we want to extract this data. Okay, and then pass this data along to the final page, right? Okay. So let's go back to the first page, and this one is done. So we could save this, and then we can go to page 2. This page we need to add the script. So js.state, and then we'll have the form here as well. The action will be going to the result page. Okay. So the hidden fields are these two fields here, the name and username and password. And you can do this in several ways. One is you can put that in here automatically, and then we'll just use the JavaScript to update the value, right? Or you can create this automatically inside the DOM in JavaScript also. So we'll do the simple one way first. Here we're just going to say input type will be hidden, because we know that we are two fields coming in. Okay, if you don't know that, or if sometimes maybe you want to modify the first form in the first page, you might add more fields or delete more fields, then this changes, right? So that means that your page 2, you need to go and modify also. So you have to do the manual work. But if you generate these fields automatically inside the DOM in JavaScript, then you don't have to worry about what field you do put here. You can just keep appending to this form field, right? Form tag. But for now, just say we have two hidden fields, and the name will be still the same. So the name will be username, and then we have one more for the password. Okay, so those are hidden. You can put it on the bottom of the page, it's fine. So we don't have to worry about those. We could probably give it give an ID as well, so we can access this easier. You can put the ID of username and password. So we target these with the document object. You can just grab this easily. All we're doing is we're going to populate this with the field with the attribute value equal to that data from the query string. I mean, you can do it here if you want. You just have to basically put JavaScript in here, put the code here, which is kind of not nice, right? So we'll do that in the script. So we're going to pass over here. Let's just add a couple more fields. We got the username and password. Let's just say we want to get something about the information, maybe their job title. So let's just say job title. Okay. You can put the label there if you want label. You don't have to do this, just showing you that you can usually use this because you care about different types of users. So for that job title, you can duplicate that line, and we'll add another one for maybe years of work. So you can say here, actually I forgot to put the job title here, job title, and then this from the job or something. And then we'll put this as years. So just 2 fields, make it simple. And so total will be 4 fields, passing along to the result file, and we'll print the results over there. And then finally we have the input type of button. Submit. And then you can say here, just default submit is fine. Okay, so you run this, go to the page 2, you see that it looks like that. Okay, you have those 2 fields to add, in addition to the other fields down there. They don't have any data yet, but if you look at the source view, you see that they're there, right? There's no value. We'll populate them with JavaScript. And let me just put a BR here to make it a little bit nicer. Okay. These are just input, so they're done deal. We need to go to our script and target these 2 fields and then populate them with data before they submit, right? So usually you can, if you want to validate, make sure that these fields are not empty, right? But you don't. We're not going to do that. So let's go into our script. And since our script is at the top, we want to use the window, unload. Okay, you can use that function if you want. Let's try this one. I just took out the word function and then put the arrow expression. It's the same thing. Okay, so we want to target that input. Doesn't work. So we want to grab the username and password, okay, and also the query string. This one up here. We want to grab this part and want to parse it, right, and then get the value, and then pass that along so we can populate those 2 fields. So you can say here, you could put that string. Let's say, let's just call it string. And this is coming from that string, the location dot search. Okay, that is the query string. Okay, so let's see if that is true over here. If you go to this page and you type in location dot search, you see that that is that string. Okay, you want to grab that, and then we'll parse that, and we'll get the test, assign that to the username, and get the password and send it to the password field. All right. So now string has this value, which is that one now. So we're going to parse that. So we could do it in multiple steps, or we could rewrite the string itself. You can rewrite that, right, if you want, and just use the same string. But we could use a different string. So you could say for just use the same string. I think it's, you don't have to worry about so many variables. So I'm going to replace that string with by removing that question mark first. Just string equals string dot, and we will do one of those 3 methods I showed you earlier. So just use the easy one, the slice 1. That's all. So that will give me this without the question mark. Okay? So we're at that stage now. And just to make sure it is true, you could put this in the global space. Okay, and we can test that. So if I save that file, okay, and save your page 2 file, and if you go back to this page here and refresh that, just refresh. If it's not, you can go to page 1 and fill some information here, and then click next. Right here, if I type in string, you see that we already parsed it. We removed that question mark already, so at that line number 9, we are getting this already. Okay. The next part is to break this out. We use a split to split at the ampersand, so to break this into 2 elements in the array. So let's do that. The next part is string. We use different variable this time because we want to have it's an array. So we put here, just say data is going to be string split at the ampersand symbol. So now we have the array of 2 elements that will look like this. The first, okay, this is one part, and this is the second part of the array. So it will look like that in the array. Okay, so now it's an object. And to see that, you can always console log it. You can put maybe table data. You save that and just refresh this page. Oh, I'm out of data here. Let's go back. Submit. I think it prints it, but it deletes it right away. I didn't get to see it. But it should be there. I want to put a log. Let's try one more time. Yeah, so this is the this is the data here. Okay. So we have that 2 fields, and then now we can go and do another split in here just to get the test and then the password. So here we can say var username is coming from the data, the first field. I'm doing manually here, but if you have a long string of data, you could use a loop to do that for you. Okay, split everything into its pieces. But since this is so easy, we're just going to grab that first information there. So we're going to split that first string, split this part here at the equal sign, right? So split at the equal sign. So now I have this piece at the 0 index. This is this first index. I want this test. So I want to return that first item. So that is the username, the value for the username, which is test. Okay? And you can duplicate this, but we'll change that to password. And all you have to do here is just basically you change that to a 1. Now we go into the index 1, and we'll split that at the equal sign. We'll get the first part. So now this is the 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got our data. The next part is attach it to the input text, right? So we want to target those input text, the input and username and password, to say here again, input maybe username, or just input user. This is the document by ID. So we have the ID. ID just username. Duplicate this. Input password, which is pass, and get the password. All I'm doing is we're just going to assign the values to those two fields. So it's very easy, right? Just put input user dot value is username. Okay, then input pass is equal to dot value. Don't forget the value is equal to password. And we don't use the .html because it's not input tags don't store any HTML data. It just store the value. Those are input fields. Even though they're hidden, they're still input fields. The value is actually the attribute, right? If you want to change the ID, just say input user.id, give it a different ID. Okay, so we got that part done. Just to see that it actually works, we can save this. Okay, save this and go back to your form. Let me expand this one here and let's do a refresh. Okay. If I look at my elements tab, tag here, let's see if the data are there. You see that it has populated those two fields with the test and 1, 2, 3, 4. This is on the DOM, okay, on the virtual DOM. But if you look at the actual code, you won't see it because this is the real DOM, right? The physical DOM. When we hard-coded this in there, we don't see those if you do a source view. But in the virtual DOM, you see the data is being populated here. So now, when I submit that form over, it's going to submit both of these plus whatever I put into these two forms. So I have 4 data going over to the other page. Just to see that it works, if I go, let's just say here, teacher, and for let's say 12 years. If I submit, you see that it goes to the results page. I have the job title, the years, the username, and password, all passed along to the final page. Okay? And then from there, I can now do the same thing, extract that query string, and then show the data to the user on this page, or pass this information to the back server to process and save into a database. Okay? All right, so we get that part, and I think that's it for this one, right? So you're passing one data from one page to another page to another page, and so on. So on the results page, we can I guess we'll write a different script because we don't want to overwrite this one here. Let's write a different script for this one. And I'm going to go into a project and then create another one. We'll call this one here just results or result.js. And we'll do the same thing here. Window.unload. And the process is pretty much the same thing. So again, we want to get the query string, okay, slice that, and get the data. So we can just copy this 3 lines here from the other string. Okay, I'm going to just copy that and put it over here. And I put this in the string as a global. So this will be different. We have more, right? We have 4 fields. So when I slice this out, I'm still going to get the same thing, except I have 2 more fields here. And then when I did a split here, I have, instead of 2, I have 4. 4 in that data array. Okay? And all I do is just basically display that out to the user. So, on that page, results page, so we all good here? Okay? So the result page, we just basically go here and add a script. This is the result JSP, JS. And then here, we just put some information here. So we can just put a div, and we'll get that ID of result. Okay, in other words, we'll put the information here. So, the results page. And we just use a paragraph tag for each of those. So we'll do a loop here. I'm going to loop, well, let's target that div first. So var div is document.getElementById. Result. That's what I call it, right? Yeah, result. Target that. And we'll loop this array. And we're just gonna remember that it has this string, right? The user and then the task. You can convert this to object instead of this way. Yeah, but it's okay. For now, we just keep it as you can do an object. Have you another additional step, and maybe I'll let you do it when you have time your own time. So let's just say we do a loop here. For we can do the regular loop, or you can do the for each loop. We did that last time. Either way you want to do it, it's completely fine. So this is the more familiar one for var I 0, I less than the data length. Okay, this one should be very familiar. And then we just basically want to create a paragraph tag. So document.createElement. I hope you didn't forget those yet. I'm going to create a p tag for each of those items. And we're going to also create the text. Text node. And we need to put the text in here. So the text will be coming from the data. And then we'll do the same thing here, right? So kind of similar to this. The data, we'll split that at the equal sign. You get the first and then the second for the username, the key and the value pair. Okay? So you can do it in here, or you can do it outside here if it's too confusing. So you could do here, you could say var key and then var. So that's the key, the var value, right? There are two of them. So the key is going to be data of 0 dot split equal sign, and that's the first parameter. This is the key. Okay, and then the value will be just the first one, right? So data of 0. Okay, I'll replace this one here with, instead of 0, it'll be I. Okay, so every time we go through an I index, so I shouldn't put 0 here. It should be the I. But this is 0 and 1 though. Okay, the first data is you're splitting the 0 into 1. So this is still remain at 0, but the data should be I. The split again at equal sign, and then I'll grab the first one. So that's just the value. Well, what I want to do is this. The results page, let's just say we want to do something like this. P, and then we have like name, username, and then test, right? That's what we're going to do. So we have to key the value here for each paragraph tag. So you're going to have 4 paragraph tags here. So that's what you're going to do. So again, if you think about this, the process is, what do you want the output to look like? So the text is going to be the key value. So here I'm going to have the key, and then plus a space, and then put a colon space, and then the value. Then you need to append the text to the paragraph, append the paragraph to the div, right? Remember all those stuff we did with the DOM? Now append to P. So we say P dot append child, the text. And then now append to div. So div dot append child, the paragraph tag. So you would each of those elements in the data 4 times or n times, depending on how many data we have in that data array. Okay, so we'll see if that gives us what we want. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and then just refresh it because my string is still here. Let's see if this shows some data. Probably nothing here. Let's go back to the beginning. Put task, and then we'll put teacher 12. Okay, not showing. What did we miss? Did I miss something here? Some errors. Research for the status of 44 not found. Line. Of the result? Oh yeah, yeah. I missed that directory. Okay, so JS/result.js. Thank you. Okay, so good catch. Thanks. So there it is. Not in the order that we want it, but you could always, sort it in a different way. So that's how you pass data from one form to another, and to another. Okay? You see a lot of tedious work here.